Fucking slut.
That's a great thing to unmute too. Anyways, we're here. Week 4 of Coach's Corner. Back at it again. Last week was a little bit laggy, but I'm finally on my PC. As you can see by my webcam not fitting the freaking border. So that's great. But yeah, crazy week 3 we had last week. Only one undefeated team left in the RFCL. Plenty of 2-1 teams. Some 1-2 teams, and only one winless team. But yeah, I wonder. I wonder. I don't really know. He could be standing right there. We don't know. But yeah, what do y'all have to say about this episode? We got some good matchups this week. So
All I know is.
Oh, you want to go?
yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think we're at this point now in the RFCL season that we kind of have our 3 groups. We have the top dogs, we have the should beat a lower opponent, and then the why would you pick them? Unfortunately, I think I'm in that one.
Yeah, it does feel like that. There's clear picks that there's gonna be like a lot of matchups that all of us pick the same people, unfortunately. But it's just like you don't want to pick wrong, and it feels obvious that one side is better than the other. But I still think there is some type of parity in some of these matchups, but some of them are just like we know who's gonna win. But with that being said, we got our third guest picker in Coach's Corner history, Coach Jara. He's not here, but now he's here. There he is. We're using his Lake Erie border because someone couldn't get me the the VSU border. All right, well, but yeah, I'm sure Jar doesn't really care. He probably likes Lake Erie more anyway. But yeah, Coach Jar, coming off of a win last week, 2-game win streak, beating App State, and then who'd y'all beat last week? Erie, Montana. And then beating Montana last week. Going into this week, it's going to be a ranked matchup against Mercer. How are we feeling going into this game in week 4, potentially, improving to 3-1?
I feel good. I feel confident going into this game week. Hopefully, if we pull out a win, we get some love in the polls. Still don't know why App State's at 2, but that's out of my control. So, we're just eager to get to game day.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys could easily be undefeated right now with that UCO game at the start of the season, the 20-0 comeback. But taking a look at the rest of your season, you got Mercer next week, obviously, but big game against Creighton, UCA, NSU, and NWMO, a really rough stretch here of games in the back half of the season. What record do you think you guys could potentially have at the end of it?
What do we play? 8-game seasons?
Yeah, 8-game a season. Y'all are 2-1.
I think probably 6-2. I think we could go 7-1 if we really lock in and do what we need to do, execute on game day. Finally, have a quarterback that can stay consistent from beginning to end. I think we have a pretty good finish to the season. That's my daughter appearance.
All right, Sneak Barack, got any questions for Jara here?
Well, Jara, especially with you taking over this team and you guys getting a feel for everything. How you feeling about the staff that you've hired?
I feel pretty good about him. Mark has actually been a pretty good surprise hire as a DC. I know he didn't have too much experience going into it, but he's picked up a lot and he's learned quick, especially after the UCO game. But he's really good on the fly with adjustments. I like Ender, even if he hasn't been able to be there in the VCs, he still helps throughout the weeks, and we kind of get together and game plan something so that way we've got a scheme we want to stay focused on throughout the game. So I think I got a pretty good staff all the way around. Oh, and most of them AC. I can't forget him.
ACs are awesome. Brock would never.
I gotta ask.
Brock would never. Oh, you do have an AC. Never mind. You do.
Yeah, I have two
CJ.
technically.
Yeah.
They don't do anything, but you know,
They're there.
They're here.
they're there. Hey, moral support, right?
Yeah.
Jara, as resident uniform snob, how do you feel about the accusations about you just being a University of Virginia copy?
I, I think those are baseless accusations. I think that it is the white man trying to steal the shine from an HBCU, but we won't get into So yeah.
All right, whatever, man.
I mean, I like our look. I mean, I love the orange unis. I think Caleb did a good job getting them put in the game and mimicking how they look IRL. So, I mean, I can't complain.
Damn, I auto-drafted Kirk Cousins? Fuck. Never mind.
Didn't even look at that.
Yeah, I'm not
You
even
don't?
looking either. But, yeah, I
This
mean,
guy, you need HD comments.
you know,
Say hi?
Oh.
Here. Say hello.
oh.
She's cute.
I got one last question for you, Jara. I mean, the move from coordinator to head coach could be a big one for some people. You know, how have you adjusted from coordinator to head coach this season?
It's been a bit of a hey. My daughter's probably gonna pick up my camera. But anyway, it's been a pretty smooth transition so far. I was a little bumpy throughout the UCO game, just trying to figure out like my footing. But after that, I mean, we kind of worked out all the kinks week 1. So after that, I mean, we kind of got into a system, and I mean, it's been smooth sailing so far from there.
Alrighty, well, I got no more questions. If you guys got anything, strike away. But
Oh, I know. Well, not to cut you off, but Wad made a comment. Ender didn't retire. He just stepped down to AC for it now, but he's still a part of our staff.
And also, Reed, we know that it's the wrong border.
Yeah,
no one else.
we
has.
know it's the wrong border. But no,
If you tuned in
but
on time,
yeah,
you've been fine.
yeah, if you were here
Right.
right when the stream started, you would have known the information. But we get it. You're not a real fan.
He
But-
saw Coach Jar was on. He's like, ugh. I
Yeah,
can
well,
wait.
we don't have the border. Like, none of us have access to like that file. We tried to ask for it, but Gage doesn't even have it. So he's Lake Erie for today, I guess. But
I think that would be Wad, wouldn't it?
yeah, Wad, do you have it? If you have it, send it to me right now, and I'll replace it. But
Fixed on the fly.
but yeah, all right.
Unless Caleb didn't put it in the RFCL.
He didn't put it in the folder. I looked. It's only this one. Same with UVU, but for anyone trying to stream those games, you guys are kind of boned. But anyways, done with interviews here. Coach Jar, 2-1 on the season, looking to have a, playoff. Oh my God! If I get freaking told that it's the wrong border again, you're all banned. Banned. But anyways, going into last week's picks results for the main 3. Oh, this is for last week's results. Martin, our guest, went 5-0. First guest to go 5-0 in history. Brock had a nice comeback week going 4-1. I went 2-3 and Sneak went 3-2. I had another bad week this week. Here are the standings. Sneak has never had a losing record in a picks week so far. Going
Just gooder, dude.
11-4. I guess he's just gooder. Barack having a nice little comeback. 9-6 now, and I am doing whatever I'm doing.
You're just here.
I'm just here.
Voting against NSU for the 3rd straight week. That's what you're doing.
Hey, 3rd straight week, my ass, bro. I voted for you first one.
Whatever.
Eventually he'll get it right.
But and here are the new rankings. I put them in a graphic, even though everybody knows them already. But NSU stays at number 1. App State stays at number 2, which I don't know. It's kind of weird. I didn't really think they would stay at 2. I mean, kind of makes sense. I mean, that loss for Virginia State is like a big one, but since they're like jumping up, I guess it makes sense there too, just because of their team. What doesn't make sense to me is that Creighton falls to 4 after beating us, and then UCO jumps. I mean, I guess UCO had a really good game, and Creighton also had a good game. I guess people thought that UCO had a better game, and they're back. But Virginia State jumps 2, goes to 5. UCA stays at 6. Endemo at 7, and Mercer, new to the rankings, at number 8.
I mean, you got to also remember that UCO beat the absolute piss out of NWO.
True.
So, I mean, I get it, but...
Yeah.
Is now the time to bring out the App State at 2 conversation, or should I just...
If you want to state your opinion on it, you can.
Well, I mean, I guess after this week, I could say sure they could be a 2, but I mean, they lost to I want to say at the time unranked us, BSU, and then stayed at 2 the next week. So it's like it's with the shenanigans there.
It's rigged.
Yeah.
But
racial bias.
Head coach's pull. That's the problem.
It's the head coach's pull. So I feel like a lot of things will look more clearer once the computer polls start to come out, even though those are also pretty funky. But we'll see. But anyways, next segment, top 5 plays of the week, voted on by us. Here we go. Top 5 plays. I didn't have the transitions this week, which kind of sucks. But number 5, Northwestern State versus Utah Valley. Utah Valley's getting destroyed right now. EC Bucky throws 5 picks. Doesn't even matter. He just lasers a dot for a 60-yarder. There wasn't a better play than this for number 5, but I thought the 60-yarder was pretty fire. Number 4, Mercer and Space Force. Arthur Weezy rolls out, throws it right to a defender, and Mercer is going to take this back for a pick 6. Coming in here at number 3, UCO versus Endomo. Quarterback sent back pass, throws off his back foot right into a defender, and UCO also gets a pick 6 in this game. They would go on to win it in just dominant fashion against Endomo in this game. Number 2, on the top 5 plays of the week, Utah Valley versus NSU. Going to be a read option here for TB12. Makes a couple guys miss and runs into the end zone, showing his athleticism. Touchdown, TB12. NSU would go on to win by a lot. Number 1, I think you all know what it is. UCO versus Endomo. Johnny Jolly steps back to pass, throws over the middle. It's going to be caught. Broken tackle to the 50, to the 40, to the 30. Another broken tackle into the end zone. What a play by UCO. They would go on to destroy Endomo in that game. But, yeah. I'm sorry for not consulting you guys about the top 5 picks. I had to scramble and find them, but...
No, I agree. I completely agree with it.
Pretty good. Alright, well. Getting into the picks, first game of the day. Utah Valley versus Space Force, 2 unranked teams. 2 teams that lost last week, looking to, turn their season around. Space Force looking to turn the season around. Haven't got a win yet. And Utah Valley looking to try and turn it around after a big loss last week against NSU. What are we thinking about this game, fellas?
I feel it's going to be a little bit closer than than we might anticipate, especially with Space Force's, I guess you could call it a cupcake roster at this point. But I feel like with Utah Valley still trying to get the grasp on EC Bucky and getting used to being in the pocket with being a freshman and all. And Space Force, I feel like they're going to be figuring some things out, and I think it'll be a lot closer. But it's going to be a great game.
I mean, I agree. This Space Force team, the score of these games makes it look like they're really, really bad. And I'm going to be honest, Brock, you guys are definitely the worst roster in the league. But I feel like they've shown signs of life in these games and just haven't been able to score. Like, they've gone down the field, but then they just throw a pick or go 3 and out at like the opponent's 40-yard line, and the defense is good but can't get anything going on offense. I think it's gonna be a closer game. But all right, Sneak, who are we thinking? Who's gonna win this game here?
Like I said, it's gonna be a great game either way. As much as I love Martin, and the staff over at UVU, I'm gonna go with the upset here and say Space Force is gonna win this game. And I'm gonna even go into detail a little bit further. I think it's gonna be a 3-point game.
It's a bold pick right there. Sneak thinking. Space Force gets their first win. I do think Space Force they'll have a chance in this game. Both these teams coming off of losses. Space Force had a closer loss. I mean, the score didn't really show it. They had some good drives there. I feel like they're figuring out something, but I just think UVU's roster is just much, like, way too. The gap between like both these teams is too much for Space Force to overcome, I think, and I think UVU is going to win this game here.
I'd have to agree with Bucky. I'm gonna be honest. I love you, Barack, but I don't think that your team is there yet. Definitely inconsistency all the way around. I think Utah Valley's kind of figured out their strengths and weaknesses, and I kind of look at them to, I want to say run away with them, but I think they'll win by at least 8.
All right, well, 2 UVUs, 1 bold Space Force pick. Maybe Brock can prove me and Jar wrong here in week 4. But next game.
I'd love to.
Yeah, you should.
I'd love to.
Go ahead.
I'm here for you. I'm gonna make it worthwhile for you, buddy.
Hell yeah, man.
Next game here, Montana versus Lake Erie. Another unranked matchup between 2 teams that, they look solid in week 1. Montana, since Kepler has retired, has looked not as great. And Lake Erie, I'm pretty sure they just got bodied last week by App State. So both teams are definitely in a slump right now and looking for something to, turn their season around. One of these teams will be 2-2. So, I mean, what are y'all thinking about this matchup here?
I think this was going to be an interesting one. I think that Virginia State against Montana and then App State against Lake Erie kind of just show like what caliber those teams are at. However, I think that there's a lot that needs to be shown, or a lot that remains to be shown from both of these squads. So I think this is a very much a 50-50 game. Just kind of depends on who scores last here.
I think so too. I think it's a very even matchup. Both these teams are, I feel like they're both equally as young and they both struggle as much as each other. But so I feel like it'd easily be a 1-possession game between both these teams. But Sneak, who are we thinking, Lake Erie or Montana to win this game?
This one's kind of a tough one for me. Because I know with Montana, they did not really perform last week as expected, especially with Zach coming in as their OC. But with that being said, I'm gonna have to go with Lake Erie. They're more established. That team is a pretty stacked roster. I know John's gonna be moving that ball down the field and using his defensive mind to stop Montana's offense.
This game is a battle of a lot of young coaches other than John. T-Man stepping in for head coach. Obviously, Zach has been around, but a lot of coordinators that, are young in this matchup. But, I really just think Lake Erie is going to get the job done here. Montana did not show me enough last week that they get the job done. I feel like it's still going to be a very even game, but I just think Lake Erie has the edge here, and they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to this game, it's a coordinator battle. Montana doesn't really have a whole lot of established anything, but Lake Erie, you got John, you got Core. Those guys are solid, and they've been solid, so I got to go with Lake Erie here.
Damn, I hate to show no love to Montana, but I have to agree with everybody else. I believe in my old squad. John and Core do a pretty damn good job of playing defense. So even if they only score out with safety, I think they'll pull it off here. And considering Lake Erie's been breaking streaks all season, when I was there, we didn't lose to Mo, and as soon as I leave, they get blown out. We're not going to talk about that. So I think they'll break the streak of always losing to Montana here and actually pull out a victory in this one.
Well, this just in. John said he doesn't have Core tonight, but picks are already in, so it doesn't really change the matter. But yeah, all Lake Erie across the board here. Montana could prove us all wrong, and then I'll have to hear about it in general for the next freaking whatever week. But next game, Jara's Virginia State facing off against the Mercer Bears. Ranked matchup here. Mercer sneaking into the rankings here as a 1-2 team, and Virginia State, number 5. I feel like they're one of the more underrated or undervalued 2-1 teams in this top 6 of all the 2-1s, plus obviously NSU being at 3-0. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a pretty good matchup. What are y'all thinking?
I think it's going to be a little bit more of a one-sided matchup, but we'll wait for me to actually share that.
Okay.
However, Mercer sneaking into the polls here is kind of interesting, making it a ranked matchup. I just got to comment on that. I think it's kind of interesting.
I totally thought UVU was going to be ranked instead at 8. Even though they got blown out, I just think like their roster is enough and people see the potential. I wouldn't have thought Mercer got ranked, or maybe Erie, but I don't know. Definitely a lot of teams that could be at that 8 spot. But getting into the picks, who we think could sneak, Mercer or VSU?
You know, I gotta just stick to my guns here. I've been doing it all season long. I gotta go with Virginia State. I just don't think that Mercer. They haven't proved it to me yet. Just because they squeak in to into the rankings doesn't mean anything. They are still an iffy team to me, an iffy staff. No disrespect to Nismo, but I gotta go with Jara on this one.
I feel like it's gonna be a closer game than people think, but I just think Virginia State has a lot of momentum right now. And Mercer still hasn't really figured it all out yet. Their quarterback is inconsistent. They like to run the ball, but that can't get you. I guess maybe NSU would like to dispute running the ball doesn't get you wins. But I just think they need to get that quarterback going if they want a chance to win this game. I don't think they're going to do it. I think Virginia State is going to just grind that clock away, score, and just win the game.
Yeah, kind of going on this one, Virginia State has looked solid. They've looked very solid throughout this entire season, minus the late game collapse against UCO. But that was the beginning of the season. I think they've learned from that. So Virginia State's going to be good. And I don't really think that Mercer really has established that they can beat a solid team just yet. So give me Virginia State here.
VSU's sweep. Jara likes the sound of that, even though it looks like he's from Lake Erie. But
Sorry, I'm back to my root.
back to the old days, I guess. Yeah. Okay. But, uh-oh.
Got a little worried here.
Next game, End of Mo coming off of a big blowout loss. UCO just. It was a good game up until the third quarter where UCO just ran away with it. Their quarterback stopped playing good. And App State coming off of a pretty big win against Lake Erie. Pretty big matchup here. If Endomo loses, they're 1-3, which is just not. I just didn't think they'd be at that point right now if they do lose. But that's just something to note. And App State would be 2-2, but we'll see. What do y'all think?
A little bit more of a heavyweight matchup than the rankings really show. End of Mo is a solid team. I think deep down, they didn't look so good against Central Oklahoma. They looked like your typical beginning of season End of Mo team. End of Mo really has a 99 overall roster and is 0-3. That's what they looked like in that game. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a lot closer of a matchup than the rankings really show here.
I agree. I feel like both these teams are pretty even. They play pretty similarly. I think it's just going to come down to which team could play better defense or which quarterback could get going first. But getting into the picks here, sneak. We got App State or End of Mo.
I'm kind of speaking from experience with dealing with NWO and also dealing with App. Obviously NWO lost to us earlier this season, and App has the very, very similar play style. So I think App's going to squeak it out. It's going to be a really great game. I think that NWO finally figures out what needs to be done. This is the time of year that they normally do, but I still think that App will pull it off just because of the play style. They're very, very similar.
I think Endo Mo is going to have a good game, but it's not going to be good enough. I feel like App State knows what they're doing. They've been doing pretty much like similar things ever since season 2 or 3. They know what they're doing. Endo Mo still hasn't really found a consistent like offense so far. I mean, they looked good in game 1, but they haven't really been able to recapture that offense. I feel like next week is the week when Endo Mo goes on a crazy run and finishes 5-3, but it's not going to be this week. They need to be in this hole if they want to do that, and I feel like that's what's going to happen. App State's going to win, and Mo falls to 1-3.
Yeah, I think with this game, it's going to be a close one. It's going to be the classic NWO against App matchup, to where it's low scoring and low excitement. However, I think that App is a little bit more suited for these types of games, and App State has proven that they can score some serious points, as they did against Lake Erie. So I think App State is going to be the one that ends up taking this game.
Jar?
Yeah, I think. Oh man, I mean, this is honestly like just a matchup of whoever just gets last possession, considering that they're honestly probably gonna control the clock most of the time. I think the possible X factor in this game is whoever quarterback gets going first, and I honestly think it's App's quarterback. I can't remember his name, but it's whatever.
Goomty, I think.
Gumpty.
Gumpty
Yeah,
Noodle Yeti.
that guy. Yeah, Ooga Booga, whatever. Anyway, so yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so I think he's gonna get hot first. I think he's gonna take control of this game, and I'm gonna go with App here. Although, granted, if NW loses, 99 overall team, 0-3, blah 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 blah, they're gonna probably make the playoff run at the end of the season. So just keep an eye out for that.
That's my prediction. I think Endo is going to lose this game and then win the next 4 and then make the playoffs. But we'll see. Next game here, pretty big matchup. 3 versus 4. UCO coming off of a big win against Endo and Creighton coming off a big win against UCA last week. Both teams look pretty solid. Who are we thinking? Or what do we think about this matchup, fellas?
This is an exciting matchup. This is the classic Pars versus Caleb and Wad matchup that we just love to see. It brings back the good old UCO and UConn days.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be a good one.
Definitely was in the running for game of the week, for sure. But you got edged out. But I think it's going to be a pretty solid game as well. What is Brock doing? Oh, got edged.
Edge.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get into the picks here.
Wait, were y'all talking about me?
Yeah, we said you edged
No.
all over the screen, and it's everywhere.
Oh yeah, bro.
He boomed all over the screen.
Bro, boomed all. Boom!
Right.
Anyway, let's keep
Boom!
Jeez.
Sneak,
Well-
sneak. You got a double chunk chocolate cookie or chicken bake?
I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about the games here. Now this game was actually my pick for game of the week, but like Bucky said, sadly it just got squeaked out in
Edged.
the L column for that. But it's gonna be a great game regardless, and I think that UCO is just gonna barely pull it off. I think that this is gonna be like those classic games where it's always going to be down to the wire. Creighton's going to put up a hell of a battle, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to get past UCO's strong roster.
The way I look at it is which team looked more impressive last week going into this week. And both teams had pretty great wins. I mean, I literally played against Creighton. It was pretty hard to stop that run game. But I just think UCO had a better win last week, and they're going to come into this week with some type of fire behind them. They do not want to fall down to 2-2. I feel like UCO is going to win this one against Creighton. It's going to be very close. Definitely one of the games to tune into. But I think UCO is going to win to Wad's dismay right now.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. Like I said earlier, it's classic. It's going to be a nail biter towards the end. However, Wad is freaking out because he's worried about the commentator's curse. However, I still got to go UCO, make it a consistent trend along the coach's corner analysts.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
So we're having another clean sweep. Is that what this one's looking like?
Oh, you tell us.
Well, I'm glad you asked. So I was genuinely under the impression this one was game of the week as well, but I guess somebody that's a co-host of this show.
Hey, listen. We went to UCO last week.
But
going
anyway,
somewhere else this week.
I guess we have to pretend like UCA is a good program.
Fuck you.
So anyway,
I
mean, I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I haven't seen too much from Creighton this year. I honestly hate to say that because I haven't watched too many of their games. But obviously UCO is beatable. If you can get a good handle of the game and put it away early and don't have a quarterback who can't hit throws and let them back into the game, I think you have a pretty good shot here. Honestly, I think it's a coin toss at the end of the day. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with the guys who got me into this godforsaken league in the first place and go Creighton with this one.
This was very close to me. I thought about picking Creighton as well, but I just don't think picking against UCO is ever a good idea. You're always safe when you pick them, it feels. So 3 UCO, 1 Creighton this week. Final game, we're picking on NSU versus UCA. 3-0. Northwestern State had a dominant game last week. I don't know why the one looks like that. It kept glitching in the freaking editing, whatever. And UCA coming off of a loss against Creighton. Jake Rodgers had like his worst game of all time. But definitely a pretty big matchup this week. Could shake up the polls if UCA gets an upset. Obviously, me and Sneak can't pick. So, Barack and Jara, y'all have the floor.
You got left outside in the cold. But overall, I think this game it's going to be an interesting test for UCA. NSU really has just ran away with most games. They've been in control. They deserve to be at the top of this ranking. And I think it comes down to whether or not UCA can catch them sleeping. That being said, I got to go with number 1 here, the defending champs. They've looked really solid this entire season. And UCA looked really not solid against Creighton. So I think that's what it comes down to. All you, Jara.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I know. I just had to
He just got to think of all the words that he wants to use against me right now. Just all the...
Oh, you're so right. So fun fact, right? When Bucky was like, "Yo, bro, you want to be on the show?" I was like, "Hell yeah, man, let's do it." So I had to make picks for this week. Fun fact: just now was actually the first time that I realized who NSU's opponent was, and that being UCA. So, being that poverty program is so irrelevant, I hate to say that it's a coin flip. So like. Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter what it landed on. It's going NSU the whole way. So give me NSU like by 30.
Hell yeah.
And Jara's never on this show again. You're banned, Jara.
Hey, what's going on there?
It's cooked.
UCA's trying to hang around.
Fuck! Let me fix it. Get UCA's ass out of here. Get your ass out of here, man! Alright, there we go. Sorry. NSU's gonna beat UCA by 40. We'll see! But no one's gonna stream it, probably, so it doesn't even matter. Anyways,
Won't be missing much.
That's pretty much the end of it. Got some pretty good matchups this week, but it's seeming to become more clear what teams have the advantage over others. I mean, it was a little murky week 1 and 2 because we haven't seen them play in week 3 as well, but I feel like the only difficult games are going to be the ranked ones to pick. But yeah, going into week 4, y'all have any final thoughts?
Imagine having losses. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Imagine having wins. Couldn't be me.
Imagine reading the game of the week.
God, fuck.
Hey, you guys are going to be quaking when Space Force makes Game of the Week 8, as we're trying to make a late season.
Space Force 4 and 3,
you,
4 and 3 right here. Space Force making a comeback. Hey, it's not about how you start; it's about how you finish.
Exactly.
This is true.
And you gotta win this
That's
week, or else you're finished.
Well, I mean that's true. Space Force really got a 79 overall roster in his own 3.
No!
Skull emoji. Skull emoji.
Okay, we're done here. Alright, make sure y'all like the stream, subscribe. We got games tonight. I'm pretty sure it's Utah Valley versus Montana at 7. Oh, wait. Montana versus Lake Erie, I mean, at 7. And Utah Valley versus Space Force at 8:30 tonight. Make sure y'all catch it. I'll probably be streaming it, so you'll see my face again. I'm sorry if you don't like me. Yeah, I'm probably going to see me all week. So,
Ooh.
we'll see you guys then. Make sure y'all tune in, like and subscribe, join Discord, and we'll see you guys.